David, he says that this showed solidarity on Europe. What's the real deal? How did you feel about that?
Well, I'm not so sure it reveals anything about solidarity within the euro area, since a lot of this money is actually coming from outside the euro area. I think that if you want the proof of the pudding, it's really in the reality that, voters, the public in a lot of these peripheral countries, not just peripheral countries, but even France and Holland, are getting fatigued with all this fiscal austerity at a time of a record high 10.8% unemployment rate. So if there was true solidarity, I don't think we're going to be seeing it when you consider that we're going to have a new government in France. There was unity between France and Germany. They were the two countries that actually formulated the fiscal compact that was a quid pro quo for the ECB to come in with Eltro late last year. Well, we're probably going to have a new government in France, right? That is not going to be as unified with Germany.
No,
the other country that was unified with Germany in terms of fiscal retrenchment was the Netherlands, and we just saw the leader of the country step down. So, in fact, I think we're going to see more in the way of discord as far as what Germany wants to accomplish, and the rest of the euro area, as opposed to anything that is a meaningful accord.
Right, but David, what I was trying to say was that with that fiscal compact, I mean, that's coming under attack in France with with Hollande and his supporters. But another thing that when you're talking about sort of where is the evidence of the solidarity within Europe? I mean, you had George Soros come out several weeks ago, accusing the Bundesbank there themselves of preparing for the euro's demise. I mean, there's certainly a lot of suspicions about what these countries, what are they really preparing for? I mean, do you see any signs that perhaps the Germans, not the German citizens who are, as you know, are quite upset with what's going on, but that the German central bank itself may be looking at a possible exit one day?
Well, I suppose it's possible. Germany always looked at unification as being more political benefits than, say, economic benefits. Is it possible down the road that Germany gets fed up? Maybe that'll be the case. I could certainly see a situation where in the future there would be a northern euro and a lot of these peripheral Club Med countries ultimately adopt their own currencies again. I think it's still early to make that call.
Right.
But unless we ultimately go towards more radical fiscal union in the euro area, and we're talking about where Germany will have to ultimately acquiesce to make this happen, is to accept a Eurobond, a common bond market type of scenario. I think that if you're looking for an end game as to what will finally be a really durable solution for the entire region, would be not just a common monetary policy, but common regulatory policy when it comes to the banking sector, and a common bond market.
David, but given all of this, and given the macro conditions and the deterioration we're seeing, does that necessarily mean, bringing it back here to the U.S., does it necessarily mean a lower stock market here in the U.S.?
Well, I think that when you're talking about the stock market, right, you're really talking about two variables, earnings and the market multiple. And earnings growth is slowing. At the same time, the question is going to be, where does the market multiple go? And that's going to be determined by the level of investor confidence in the economic outlook.
Okay.
And I think that we can leave Europe aside. Of course, that's a big determinant of U.S. corporate earnings. But let's take a look at what's happening in the U.S. Where, if we actually get the Bernanke, fiscal cliff, 2013.
Yes or no? Does it necessarily mean a lower stock market here in the U.S.?
It's going to probably mean a very choppy stock market. I'm not so sure it leads to a prolonged correction, but it's going to lead to weak overall risk appetite. That much I'm sure of.
All right, David, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you always joining us. David